Here's the story of how I cut my toe off. At the time, I was about 10 years old. It was just me, my mom, and sister home. And I don't really know why, but my mom was trying to split this one log with a maul. I asked if I could try, and she reluctantly said yes. And because I was only a kid and pretty weak, it was actually quite heavy. The first swing I made didn't really do anything to the log, so my mom was about to take the maul back, but I asked if I could try again, and she said, okay, one more time. But the second swing didn't go as well as the first. I just nicked the top of the log, and then the maul came down to the ground right next to my foot. And I was barefoot at the time, which is not smart. I didn't realize there was anything wrong at the time, but then my mom realized it cut part of my toe off, so she yelled, "Find the toe!" My sister was right there with us and didn't know what was happening, so they frantically looked for it on the ground. They eventually found it, so my mom picked me up and ran to the house, and while she was figuring out what to do, I was just kind of sitting on the floor, looking at my toe and watching it drip blood, but for some reason it really didn't hurt. We eventually get into the car and drive to a walk-in clinic to see what they can do, and they said because it cut part of the bone off, they couldn't do very much, so they wrapped it up a little better, and we left for the hospital. After waiting for a while, they were eventually ready to work on my toe, but they said because the bone was cut off, they couldn't reattach it, so they said that they would have to take the toe to the knuckle, so I thought that they meant they were going to remove the toe, so that was the time that I did cry because I didn't want to lose it, and I didn't really know what was going to happen, but this was the only time I ever cried during this. So I get out of surgery and everything went well, except it cost like $7,000 because we didn't have insurance, which if that little piece of toe is worth that much, my whole body would probably be worth like 10 million or 100 million, and that's just a toe. So it's a couple months after surgery, and I noticed that there's this hard sting sticking out the top edge of that toe. Turns out they didn't remove all the cells that create toenail, so to this day, I still have a little bit of toenail that I have to trim from time to time. But this whole thing could have been so much worse. If the maul had landed an inch to the right, it would have cut off my big toe instead. And if it was a few inches back, it could have cut off part of my foot. So God was definitely looking after me. I'm probably going to do a toe reveal at 100,000 subscribers. So if you want to see that, you can subscribe. So what did we learn from all this? Wear shoes when you split wood, and preferably be older than 10.